Hi, welcome to the latest issue of Crystal Spot. I'm super excited to have one of our feature writers who's been with us since the beginning of Crystal Spot Mag, Anika Jackson. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Crystal. Thank you for having me.
Well, we've all, learned so much from the tips that you provided in the articles, as well as all the amazing women you have featured throughout the years. I want to talk a little bit more about your company, Your Brand Amplified, and what are you guys looking forward to in this last quarter of the year?
Absolutely. So Your Brand Amplified has been my trademark and my podcast name for a couple of years. And so what I realized is it made more sense for the work that I and my team were doing as an agency to rebrand under Your Brand Amplified instead of my previous name, Anika PR, because we were only doing PR work. And what we found as we were bringing clients in for PR is so many times and this could be a small business, somebody who's just starting out, somebody who has multiple businesses, or somebody who's been in business for 20 years. But we found out if we don't start with the brand strategy before we even get to PR, we can't be as effective in our jobs. And so we've had a program, and when we onboard a client, we always start with a branding session so that we really understand who you are as a company, what you're really offering, what messages you're currently using, all of the different things so that we can then create your marketing and your PR plan, your strategic plan. And a lot of times people don't really know who they are. So that's why we started working from that way, because we were finding we were getting clients who were like, I need PR, I want PR, but they didn't really understand what PR does. They thought maybe it was advertising versus us going out and pitching you for articles and interviews and getting you placements that you don't pay to sponsor. So there's a big difference there. And a lot of people get confused about that. So I said, okay, what if we take the way that we onboard clients and turn it into a program so anybody can take it anytime? So we've created this modular program with multiple modules that really talk about the branding lifecycle, integrated marketing, and then how to use your key messages, your customer personas to exist in the spaces that your clients exist in, and use your story and your brand messaging across all of the different social media platforms when you're pitching to do an interview and all of that. So the Brand Amplifier is our signature program that includes modules. We will have Zoom coaching and some one-on-one sessions with me and some of my senior team members. And so that's kind of what we're really excited about. We did some soft launching and market testing. And then I've realized that now that I'm also teaching college, it's like, oh, it's helped me kind of restructure and go, oh, wait, I want to add this to the program or take this away. And so we've been refining, but for Q4, we will officially be fully launched again. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, I love that. And I think just as you noticed, I don't know if you caught the intro, we've changed the magazine from The Spot Mag to Crystal Spot Mag.
Yes,
which
love
is
it.
more consistent branding under the umbrella of all the companies that I currently operate. And you rediscover things. And I think that a lot of small business owners or entrepreneurs feel like, well, I started this way, I got to stick this way. Well, no, you don't. Your integrity, your mission, and all of those things, your core values are going to stay consistent, but how you present yourself to the world can also change. So I love that you guys were able to say, okay, well, we're doing PR, but people think PR is buying ads. So let's define what PR is. Let's define what branding is, and let's show them the integration of both of those. Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited. So maybe I know you don't want to give away your whole program, and I wouldn't do that, but what are one or two things that someone who's listening to this podcast, who's a small business owner, who's in that space of like, okay, how do I pitch, or how do I find what my brand is, and what was something that they would learn in that Brand Amplifier program?
Well, some come to us having done some of the work and some don't. And even the ones who've done some of the work find it really useful to go through these exercises that we have in the program. And so in the program, you'll really learn what is branding. It's not just your logo. You know, it's not just your logo and your slogan. It's not just putting something out in the world, making your website, posting something on social media. You still have to do marketing and PR to get people. It's a common thing in most industries, even the movie industry. I know people who've been filmmakers for a long time who said, oh yeah, I just thought you make your film and you put it out in the world. Okay, but then how are people finding out about it? It's not osmosis. People aren't just going to know, oh, you put this thing out unless you have marketing and PR behind it. And so we start with, who are you as a brand? What's the brand story? What is your market differentiator? We do competitive analysis. So how do you show up in the marketplace? What is unique to you and your company and what you do and how you exist in the world? And so we walk through all of these exercises, module by module. And then in the Zoom sessions, we'll have a kind of ask me anything. I might share some case studies, but we'll also give that space for people to really work through. If they don't know how to go through that stuff themselves, I can help ask those questions to get people where they need to go. Because as an owner, if you don't have a clear understanding of who you are and why you exist as a company, nobody else is going to either.
Your customers believe in it. Neither will your staff or your employees or your
so we really work. Yeah, we work through all that stuff. Like, what are your key messages? Who are your customers? What are your market differentiators? We'll do some evaluation on, do you have existing social media? Are you doing SEO? What are some things that you can do or that you can hire somebody to do or have somebody in your team do to implement little incremental strategies that will make a big difference in your business with those things, whether or not you can afford or want to hire somebody outsourced, right? We want to make sure we're adding value because we're small business owners too. And we understand that pain point. And in our field, we often are the worst at marketing ourselves. And so that's why I'm trying to get better at that. And then I also want to help other people get better at that. And then on the other side, for brands that do exist and that kind of understand some of that, to celebrate our relaunch, our new website, all of that, we are going to offer a very discounted small business offer of $2,000 a month for us to handle PR, minimum of a 3-month contract. And these are not prices that we normally offer. But we are getting really great results for the clients we have. And we know that we can also get great results for Q3 for the small businesses. Now that one will be an application because we can't just take.
You can't take everybody.
Yeah. We want to make sure that we know that we can succeed for them out of the gate with the journalist contacts that we have right now and the way that we have set up our PR practice.
And you do a lot with nonprofit and startups, correct?
Yes, I work with a lot of startups, a lot of nonprofits, and the startups ran the gamut from, tech startups to social good and social justice tech startups, educational, just kind of a little bit all over the place. We also work with a lot of women entrepreneurs, small businesses across many different categories.
I love it. Yeah. So what are some things that you're seeing? And I didn't tell you this question beforehand. Sorry about
that. That's okay.
What are some things that you're seeing when people are with the social climate that we're in now and people being more aware of things that pre-COVID, you kind of could have your head in the sand and just do your thing. And now people are like, oh, I need to really pay attention to these things that people are doing in their businesses with their branding and their marketing and their PR that are good.
So one thing that changed is during the pandemic, people were really looking for connection. And part of connection is authenticity. And it goes back to the message that if you're in sales or marketing, you hear people want to buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Of course,
and brands they know, like, and trust. So showing who you are is important, and showing the same person, the same value, the same company values across your platforms is really important. That means if you are for Black Lives Matter or you have a charity that you're really passionate about, just making a social media post to say, I support this, or making a statement on your website, that's not going to cut it. People today want to know, okay, but what did you do? Did you just make a post so that people think that you did something? Or, what are you going to show us? So by saying things like, we donate a certain percentage, or at our business, if we are a brick and mortar, we have booths or we have boxes where you can make donations for XYZ charity, especially with the holidays coming up. We know that that's a big thing, but being really intentional about how you're putting your message out, what your message is, and making sure that people are seeing the action, not just the reaction.
And like you were just saying, it's so hard to market yourself. I have this magazine. I also own a residential commercial real estate brokerage. So I bought a commercial building this year. And one of the things that spoke to me was, in my building space, I have 12 offices. And I said, I want to help another minority or woman business owner have an opportunity to have an office. So I have a scholarship office here, but I haven't promoted because that's important to me. My passion is helping women and minorities engage in the business sense. And I'm like, you can kind of get into this thing, well, what do you promote that sounds self-serving, or what do you promote just to show people that you walk the talk? You're doing what you say you believe in. So I love it. I might have to maybe look at your module.
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely talk offline about that too.
Yeah,
And that's, yeah.
important because people do really care. When I first got into real estate, I had two separate accounts. I had two versions of who I was. One was my mother lifestyle with my children, and one was my professional. And when I pulled down that veil and said, hey, they're all the same, things just opened up, because authenticity in this generation and this world we're living in is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that, as I alluded to, I'm teaching at USC. Now I'm teaching grad students in the PR and communications program. And it's really interesting because I have them read a lot of reports on different brands and pulling back the curtain to see which brands are really doing what they say that they were going to do, which ones aren't, which ones are really showing up for other communities. And it's been very eye-opening and revelationary for all of us, really. Yeah. So that's one thing. Another thing that I'm seeing, as you mentioned, like you bought a building, having your name on the building, right? That's things that are visible when people are out and about, and things that are high touch. Everybody gets inundated by so many emails and newsletters and things. So I'm finding that even when I sign up for something, or if somebody comes on my podcast and then they send me their book, or they send me a thank you note, that is really resonating, because we're not getting as much personal mail nowadays, right? We get a lot of junk mail in our mailbox at home, and we got to get a lot of digital junk. So anything that I'm seeing more like high touch. Yeah. People want to receive things, and they want to see things. I'm using a lot of outdoor advertising now for some clients, because bus transit shelters for instance, in Los Angeles, I'm like, yeah, okay, we need to get brand recognition. We do these bus transit shelters for 3 months. And then this is how many people are going to go through those buses. And this is how much traffic is driving by every day, so that they can see what kind of brand recognition. So I'm thinking of other things to extend brands that are more on the marketing side, not just the PR side.
I love that. That's so true. We have high touch areas in commercial real estate. You do demographic studies to say how many people are going to pass this building a day, a week, an hour. And very important. Well, I'm super excited for, what we're going to put together next year and our fall issue coming out, and having some of your tips and tricks in the future for 2020. Yeah. And thank you so much for coming on here. Would you share with us, you mentioned you're doing a special for your brand amplifier program. Can you share with us how they would connect with you if they want to get signed up with that? And is that limited quantities, how many you're selling, or?
That will be limited quantity. We have to see how much time our team has, because we have some really big projects that are coming in. Yeah. So we're kind of like, okay, as long as we have capability, we'll add these and do the 3 months program at the reduced price. So actually in the magazine is going to be an ad that has a link that people can click through. Oh, and there will be a form people can fill out if they're interested in participating, and we'll evaluate them. Then we'll set up a call and then go from there. But we can get people onboarded pretty quickly. And I know my PR team, they have a list of, hey, these are the kind of things journalists are really looking for right now. We really want these clients. And real estate is one of those. We're seeing a lot of inquiries, for real estate, for decorating, for service industry. So we know those are people, dentists, doctors, anything like that we can get into the press immediately. And for instance, we have a gardening client who does home gardens and also some commercial gardens, and they're raised box gardens. We just got her in Martha Stewart Living 3 times, in the Washington Post, Real Homes and Gardens, Real Homes, and then a few other publications in the first month of working with her. Wow. That's because these are things people want. People want to know. We're still in that phase, I think, where, we're going out a little more, but people still want to know, what can they do to improve their home or themselves, and we all need to get back to the
going up too. So save money and make some of these items at home.
Exactly.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show and continuing to support Crystal Spot Mag. I'm going to have to get used to saying it as well. Yes. I'm excited for your article, your feature, and your ad for this upcoming issue that will be out in October.
Thank you so much, Crystal.